and we're copying them into a new tree. So if this does not exist, then I will say os.mkdir, which stands for make this. And let's say create dir. And the directory that we want to create is going to be the target path, right? So we'll just pass the target path there, sorry. Okay, next, we want to get all of those destination paths. So I need to make a function that is essentially going to look at this whole path, and it's just going to give me the directory name, but removing the game aspect. Now, I know this seems a bit backwards how I'm doing it. I'm doing it intentionally so that I can show you how you strip apart paths and take like certain components of the path. So believe me, I know there's an easier way to do this, but I'm trying to show you like how you can use a. Because remember, we have the automatically just going to give you the very last aspect of the path, whether it's a directory or a aspect from this dir name. So I will say new dir name is equal to my world rock paper directory name with just game. It wouldn't count or it wouldn't remove it. So you could do some advanced logic to remove this if you want, but for now we'll just make it underscore game. I think you guys know what I'm saying here. Okay, so let's clear that. And what do we need to do next? Well, now that we have our kind of destination, our source directories for all the games, as well as where we want to put these games, now we need to, well, we need to write them, right? Like we need to actually do the copy operation. There's like a million ways you can go another directory. Now after this, I'll say hutil.copy tree, and then I will copy the source to the destination. All right, that's all good. That's all we need for copying and overwriting, or overriding, however you want to. I think overwrite is the correct term there. Okay. So now that we've done that, we can use this function. So we need to essentially loop through all of the different paths that we have, so the source paths as well as the destination paths, and then we need to run this copy command. So I'm going to say for, and we'll call this src destination in. I'm going to use this zip function. I'll explain how this works in 1 second, but I'm going to pass my game paths and my new game directories. I'm going to start by saying my destination path is equal to os.path.join, and I'm going to join my target path with my destination folder name. Then I will run the copy and overwrite function with my src and my destination path. Okay. So let me explain how zip works. What zip will do is it will take matching elements from two arrays and combine them into a tuple, which then gives me access to them at the same time. So notice, right, these arrays or these lists are going to be the same length. So this first one is going to be all of the original game paths. This is going to be our new game directory names that have this underscore game removed. Now I want to be getting the game path associated with the new game directory name because I want to copy whatever's here into this new directory name. So I zip them together. So to show you a quick example, if we have 1, 2, 3, and we have like A, B, C, then if you zip these together, what you're going to get is an array that has 1 and A, or a tuple, sorry, that has 1 and A, 2 and B, etc. Just combines them together. So the matching elements at their indices get kind of matched up, and that's why I can say source destination here and iterate through the zip. Matched up, and that's why I can say source destination here and iterate through the zip. Okay, so now this should actually be good. However, I need to make sure that I create this directory before I do this. Otherwise, we're going to get an error where it says our path doesn't exist. Okay, so let me slow down for 1 second. I'll explain what we've done. We can run it and then we can continue. So what we've done here, right, is we've gotten the source path as well as the directory path. We have found all of the game paths that we're interested in, so essentially those directories from the source directory. We have then found what we want our new game directory names to be. We have then created the target directory where we want to copy all of these into, and now we're actually performing that copy operation. Okay, so we're at that point. So let's run this and see how it works. So Python get game data, and then we're passing data and target. I hit enter, and when I look in target here, you can see I now have hello world, rock paper scissors, and Simon Says with the contents of those directories because I just copied them in. Perfect. So now let me delete this and we can continue. So the next thing I want to do is write a JSON file that just has some metadata about the different games. So what the game directory names are and how many of them there are. This is fairly straightforward. So let me create a function. I'll say make file that just has some metadata about the different games. So what the game directory names are and how many of them there are. This is fairly straightforward. So let me create a function. I'll say make JSON metadata file. And here I will just take my path. So what do I want the file to be, or where do I want it to be? And then I will take my game dirs. Okay. Now here I'm going to say that my data, this is the data I want to write into the JSON file, is going to be equal to, and I will say my game names is simply my game directories, and I'll say number of games, and this will be the len of my game dirs. Very straightforward, not the most useful data, but just want to show you how we write JSON. So now there's a few ways to do this, but the preferred method is to do the following. I'm going to say with open path in W mode. W stands for write. This will override the file if it already exists. If you wanted to read the file, you'd use R. So I want to write and override if it exists. So I'm using W. And I'm going to say as F. And then I'm going to say JSON dot dump. And I'm going to dump my data into my file. Now, if you've ever seen JSON be used before with dump S stands for dump string, and that's going to dump the JSON data you have into a string. We don't want that. We want to dump it into a file, or just really save it into a file. So you pass the data that we want to save, which in this case is a Python dictionary, which can kind of be represented as a JSON object, and we want to save it into this file object that I'm opening using something known as a context manager. Now, the reason I use this is because as soon as we're outside of this with, we are automatically going to have the file closed for us. If we didn't use with, we would have to manually close the file, and there can be some problems doing that, especially if an error occurs before we're able to close the file. We can have kind of a memory leak going on, so it's just preferred to use this. It's referred to as a context manager that just makes sure your cleanup operations happen no matter what, essentially. Okay, so we have this JSON metadata file, so let me copy this function. Let's paste it here. We'll say
so it's kind of silent in my room, so I'm gonna kind of talk. So this shit is really simple, and I need to do the metadata what he just told.
but I'm going to pass my game
The G.
all of the
All right. That two was simple, and let's see about the JSON one.
so let me create a function to be here. So now there's a few ways.
He takes path and game directory, and data is or JSON file. JSON is like an object. Fucking hell, bro. JSON is a object which takes both value as string or both side as string. Okay. And let's do it here, bro. Define what they call it. Make JSON metadata. Make JSON metadata, which takes path. We need path, and then what do we need?
File to be, or where do I want it to be? Now,
okay. What is game dir?
just take my path. So what do I want the file to be, or where do I want it to be? And then I will take my game dirs. Okay. Now here,
game directory. All right. Okay. So there's a difference between dump and dumps. Dump and dumps in Python. So we need to import JSON. All right, let's do that. JSON. All right. Okay. And JSON dump method can convert a Python object into a JSON string. Like It returns in an object dumps in an four. Indent is like to make this on structure, I think. I think, oh, alright, I only think. Okay, breaks object generate dump and use for writing to JSON file into a JSON string. So, like, into a JSON string. Okay. I'll put okay, dump use the right serial object as JSON format. JSON.dumps method is used to encodes any Python object into JSON formatted string. Its syntax is dump indent indent. Like he did it without indent, so it looks like this. And when you use indentation, this become like this. The structure, man, the structure. All right. So by the sound of it, we need to make a file. Mm, So where we want the metadata to be in game there's okay data equals game there's number of game. All right, game there's okay. We need to save the object or in button we call list. I think game name. So this need to be string. Game name is game there's all right, we need comma in here and number of games is len game there's all right, so we got that. And how the fuck am I supposed to write it into um I know but I forgot, bruh. With open a fucking file. Like, what do I want that to be? Okay, path, sorry about that. Okay, I'm kind of slow. As, as F, let's do that. F file. So we open that shit, JSON dot dump. This is already in string, and we don't want this to be a string, the number. So we do that. So dump um data into F INDE and then equals to let's try one for fuck's sake and we want that to go into main. All right, then um all right, then we want that to be in the loop. Um but it loops through it, but I don't know how that's gonna look like in the file to be exact. So make JSON metadata file, alright? And then path. What do I want that path to be, bro? And game there's it's supposed to be game name. And so I think we should do this. This is out of the loop. So the tab, look at this, is inside the loop, and we are in the same hierarchy level in the outside the loop, let's say. So game path, new game directories. Okay, copy and overwrite target directories. Okay. So what? Okay, let's see what he
Gonna be
does.
represented as a JSON object. And we want to save it into this file object that I'm opening using Windows Edit Context Manager. Now, the reason I use this is because as soon as the website is with, we're automatically going to have the file closed for us. If we didn't use with, we would have to manually close the file, and if there's some problems doing that, especially if error occurs before we're able to close the file, we have to have a memory going on, so it's just preferred to use this, referred to as Content Manager, just make sure your operations happen no matter what's essential. Okay, so we have this JSON edited file, so we'll copy this function. Let's paste it here. We'll say make JSON edited file, and then we pass a path that we want to use. So I'll say JSON underscore path is equal to os.path. JSON underscore path as a path that we want to use. So I'll say JSON underscore path is equal to os.path.join, and I will join my target path with my metadata.json name.
Okay, we want that to be our where we want that to be. Alright, I have a pretty good idea what the JSON file is gonna be like. It's gonna be like this, and this. Here is a comma and our name to be exact. Alright, and then so JSON dot, is it path? JSON path equals to as the path the join. We're gonna join our target what the fuck is that? The target, let's take target path, our target path with metadata the JSON. In Arch, there is something like JSON Nick, man. What the fuck is the difference between that? Okay, double quotation just for my ADSD, for fuck's sake. And JSON, so what was that? Path is JSON path, and the game directories. I think we're gonna open some directory or list or directory name or.
So I've just come up with this name. You can name it anything you want. And then we'll pass here the JSON path and my new game objects. Right?
Wait the fuck out. What is your game directory? Well, say get name from path. New directory. New game directory. So get, alright, this is in here. Let's fucking close this. And this new game, get game match. Okay, replace append it and new names. Alright, so for, okay, we got an object. We this is an object or whatever it's called. Game there's new game there's, it's an object which has, and like this replaced removed on the game removed. To remove, we remove dash game, so like the, all right, the rock paper scissors, like look at this, there is game in it, but this doesn't have game in it. Look at it, hello world dash game, so it has like appended on this in it. Look at here, hello, this is hello world, this is string, by the way, I'm not writing. Hello world comma rock paper scissors, not game. So this is what we want. So like the object is gone through here. So it is passed to make JSONic game dir game name. So game dir and len. So it's gonna be like here is an object and the length of it. So I think it is finished. So let's Python game there, and what happened is that thing we get a metadata.json, and look at here, this is an array, all right, and number of game this, so this is gonna be our metadata, or we can check if some is missing, or we have to add something, or this is not properly loading, one there's three in it, and no, there's three in this and there's only two. That's a problem. I think that's the solution, man. Like if it is like zero, save, like indentation zero, and look, it's gonna look bad, I think. What the fuck? The fuck is that? Delete. Okay. I think this is kind of prettier, bro. The indentation should be like some random number higher than zero to look close to that, or it was gonna be like the indentation means here, so it was gonna look like this. So no. Alright, that's good, man. That's good, man. Alright.
Pass here the JSON path and my new game dirs. Right? There we go. Okay, so let's run this again and see if it creates the JSON file. Okay, go to target. And notice we now have our JSON file. If I save, it will auto-format here. You can see we have our names and our number of games. Fantastic. Okay, so let me delete that. Alright, now that we have done that, I need to show you how we can compile this Go code and how we can run the Go code. Alright, so let's write a function here that will allow us to compile the code inside the directory. I'll just space out my functions here so it's easy to read. Okay, let's do it. So it's fine. This will be compile game code. Now here, we'll take a path, which will be the path to the directory we want to compile the code inside. Now, what we need to do here is we need to locate or determine the name of the file that we want to compile. No pun intended, no pun intended, but you know what I mean. So we have a name, we have code, we have file. Now, in this case, we have code, but we don't want to have this dynamic, so it works with kind of any Go file.
Wait. Alright, let's start this. Hello. Alright. Alright, let's do scripting. I need to learn this, but later. Later, alright. And then let's do this.
File, no matter what the name is. And you can see we have our game names and our number of games. Fantastic. Okay, so let me delete that. All right, now that we have done that, I need to show you how we can compile this Go code and how we can run the Go code. All right, so let's write a function here that will allow us to compile the code inside of a directory. Now, let me just space out my functions here so they're a bit easier.
Wait, I think I should do this.
Read. Okay, and let's do it here. So define. This will be compile.
We are defining
game code. Now here, we'll take a path, which will be the path to the directory we want to compile the code inside of. Now, what we need to do here is we need to locate or we'll take a path, which will be the path to the directory we want to compile the code inside of. Now, what we need to do here is we need to locate or determine the name of the file that we want to compile. No pun intended or rhyme intended there, but you know what I mean. So we have main, we have code, we have file. Now, in this case, we could hard code that, but we don't want to do that. We want to have this dynamic so it works with kind of any Go file, no matter what the name is.
Yeah,
So essentially, we're going to look through the directories of our games, and we're going to search for any file that ends in .go, right? So let's create a variable here and say game code extension, and I'll just make this .go. So that's what we'll search for. Now, if we find that, then we'll compile that code. Now, we could compile all of
Is it go or .go?
code extension, and I'll just make this .go. So that's what we'll search for. Now, if we find that, then we'll compile that code. Now, we could compile all of the files that have that name, or we could compile just the first one. In this case, I'll just do the first one because we're assuming we only have a single code file in each of our directories. All right, so let's say code file name is equal to none. And then let's walk through this directory like we did before. So we're going to say root dirs files in os.walk our path.
So
and this time we're only interested in the files. So I'm going to say for
let's go
file
in and out
files,
everything.
and let's not forget to break here at the end of our for loop, so we only do this one time, not recursively. Okay, so for files in files.
Why do you do break, bro?
Okay, for file in files, and let's not forget to break here at the end of our for loop, so we only do this one time, not recursively. Okay, so for files in files, I'm going to say if the code, what did I even call this? The game code. Okay, game code extension. If the game code extension is in the file, then I will say my code, let's do this, my code file name is equal to file, and then I will break. Okay, that's actually all we need. I know I went fast there, but that's all we need to determine what the name of our code file is. So we
code file name equals to file, so we need to do break for this. Do we need break? Bro, let's not do it and later understand why.
loop through all of our files here, right? So for file and file, and we say, okay, if this .go extension is associated with the file, then we'll say code file name is equal to file. And then we'll break, which means we'll just find the first one. We don't need to continue looking. Now, what I just realized, though, is that
first one could be first one.
And then we'll break, which means we'll just find the first one. We don't need to continue looking.
So
now, what I just realized, though, is that this could be a little flawed because I could technically have a file that's like .go.py. I know that would be a weird name, but that wouldn't be a .go file. That would be a Python file, right? Well, I think that would be a Python file, but it would be a bit weird either way if we had something like that. So what I'm going to do instead is use a little bit of a better way of doing this. I'm going to say if file.ends with. So I'm going to check if this is at the
you can do that?
End of the file. I think that's a better way to do this check. Okay, perfect. So now what?
Oh, fuck's sake. For fuck's sake, man. Okay. If file the ends with game code extension ext and yes, I have an extension now, right?
What I'm going to do is I'm just going to make sure that we did have a code file. If we don't have one, I'm going to return. If we do have one, then I'm going to run the command to compile this. So I'm going to say if the code file name is none, then just return, just so that we don't get an error when we try to compile a file that doesn't exist. Now we need to actually compile the file. So the first thing I'm going to do is say my command is equal to, and then I'm going to make.
Okay, if we don't get any, then return nothing.
The first thing I'm going to do is say my command is equal to, and then I'm going to make a variable up here, which will be my compile command. So I'm going to say game compile command. Now, the way you write these commands.
Okay. Mm,
is just in an array of, I keep saying array, in a list of strings that represent the commands that you need to run. So it's going to be go and then build. So this is the command, go build, then whatever the name of the file is. So this is my like base command. So I'm going to say my command
so
is
what the fuck is alright build?
equal to my game compile command plus.
Wait the fuck up. I need to make this readable. Cause I couldn't find it in one go. Compile game dash PILE. Compile dash command equals to.
Plus, and then I'm going to,
What the fuck is
so I'm going to
that?
say my command is equal to my game compile command plus, and then I'm going to
Game compile command is the array which has build and stuff. So we gonna get like, what do you call that when you combine string? There was a different word. What is concatenation? Concatenation. Okay, go and then I think it's supposed to be file name or
put another list here, and I'm going to add inside of here the code file name. Now, what this will do is make the command be go build, and then whatever the file name is. Then I can pass this to a function that I'm going to write, which will just run any command that I pass it. So we're going to say run command. We do actually need the path that we want to be.
yeah, we need the path to be exact. Run command, what the fuck is that? Let's close this. Run command path.
Running this command from. Okay, so now I'm going to say that our current working directory is equal to.
Okay, it takes command. We ain't returning this right now because I don't know one thing he's gonna do like after he gonna add it, like it's a like it's gonna like return me to this, and then we gonna run this command in here, like command in here, thing run command.
So os dot get cwd.
Get
Is
CWD
that what
current
it
working
is? Get
directory.
CWD?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
correct.
I
And
know.
I'm going to show you how we change our working directory into this path. The reason for that is that I need to run this command. Well, I don't need to, but I'm going to run this command directly in the directory where our game code is. So rather than being in the directory where my Python script was run, I'm going to change into that directory, run the command, and then change back to a different directory, just to show you how
Yeah,
you do that.
okay,
So I'm going to say os chdir, which stands for change directory, and I'm going to change into the path directory. Then I'm going to go and run the command. Now, to run the command, we're going to use the subprocess command run, which I believe I imported from up here. Yes, I did. So we're going to say
what the fuck
command
do you
run,
call?
which I believe I imported from up here.
Run. Okay, from fucking hell. Sub process import pipe run. Sub process import pipe and run. That's good. And then let's do
Here, yes, I
that.
did. So we're going to say run, and we're going to run our command, and we're going to say our standard output is equal to pipe, and our
Standard output.
I'm going to say our standard output is equal to pipe, and our standard input is equal to pipe, and I'm going to say universal new lines is equal to true. Now, this is where the command gets say universal, and our standard input is equal to pipe,
Output.
and I'm going to say universal new lines is equal to true. Now, this is where the command gets a little bit complicated, right? What does all this mean? Well, the standard output and the standard input is the location where the command is, well, accepting input and spitting out the output. Now, pipe is kind of this special thing that we can use that makes a bridge between our Python code and the process that we're using to run this command. Now, I'm not really going to explain it more than that, but just understand that that's why we're putting it here. It essentially allows us to communicate between the process that can actually run this special command, because this command is not a Python built-in command, right? Like, this is a command we just run in our terminal or in our command prompt. Again, you don't have to understand it. Maybe that explanation was good, maybe it wasn't, but this is how you do it. You import run and pipe from sub process. You pass the command.
I'm gonna look into this because this is kind of like, I feel like this is kind of important. Like, I feel like it because we like do this sit on here. I can close this, clear. Okay, this is my Hyperland. Yes, B. Close my wallpaper. Did this Arch Linux thing?
Command is just going to be an array of all of the different words that are in that command, or a list of all of the different commands. And then if you wanted the result, it will be given to you in this result variable. So you could print out the result, you could read it in as a JSON object, blah, blah, blah. You could do whatever you want, and you could see what that result is. And in fact, we'll print out the result just so you can see what it looks like. So I'll say compile result like that. Okay, now the last thing we'll do, just as good practice, is we're going to change our directory back to the current working directory we were in before we ran, or before we changed directories into this path, just to make sure.
So what it did was like, and so we changed the our current working directory to the path we're gonna give it. We are not calling the function from anywhere, so it's like whatever. We gonna do that. So the path should be like, oh fucking hell. The path should be like this path, this path, where we can run the command in, and then after sending the directory, we like run the command. Command is this. This is like go, or I think build, build plus the code file name. Code file name this. So like in the command prompt, we simply like write like go or build, and the game name. The game name meaning this in the target file, level, walk over scissor, stuff like that. I think it's that. All right.
When we run
So
command another time, we don't get
um the whole like jack of all trades is not working out in my favor because like of my um all of my learning is kind of going to waste because I'm trying to learn all of this stuff all at the same time. Like, I think I can grab two things at a time, but one thing at a time is better when you are learning. I knew that, but I thought I could do that where I could learn everything by myself, but I was dead wrong. And my real life situation, it's not bad, no, it's not dire, but the call is and hanging out with my friends. I can't cramp most of the thing I'm doing. Like if I'm learning four things in a day or two, three, even two, like I need a whole day of being focused, and I can't even do that. But and so I've been thinking like I will learn scripting because I can use it in my Linux, Arch Linux, and in my Linux, and then in my cloud too, and some other stuff. So, all right then, that's what I was saying. Where is that? All right then. So, I don't know what this path is all about, but I can't understand the function of it. Like, run, like you doing this in a command file and you're kind of running the command. So, alright, run.
Any potential errors, okay? So we got the working directory we were in, changed into this path directory, ran the command, and then we went back into whatever the previous directory was, just so that we don't have any potential problems here. Now we need to call this function.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we'll say run command and path. That's actually fine. We can just pass those values. Great.
Run.
So now where do we call our compile
Command,
game code function?
command,
Well, we're going to
command.
call that
Okay.
and path.
Path
That's
in
actually
there.
fine. We can just pass those values.
Path is where are we calling this from? We are not calling this. When are we calling this?
Command and
So
path.
path
That's
is
actually
supposed to be
fine. We can just
target, I
pass
think.
those values. Great. So now
The
where do we call
target.
our compile game code function? Well, we're going to call that from inside of our copy here. So I'm going to say compile game code.
Copy. What the fuck is it? Copy. Copy. Alright, here it is. Alright, then. Oh, you didn't mean that. Okay. I was like only hearing, not looking at my side. So where's the sit in? In my main? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I thought so.
And I will compile game code in the destination path. Because once we've done the copy and overwrite, once this is finished, now that directory exists, let's compile the game code.
Not distance part, target. Like for learning purposes, I made this variable dead clear what it is about. Like target directory is supposed to be the directory. No, this directory. Directory means folder. Like it's programming language.
Then move on to the next directories. So at this point, the project is pretty much finished. Let's run it though. Make sure it works. Okay, compile result, and notice it gives you kind of this like result object, right? I'm not going to, again, kind of dig into exactly how this works. Object, right? Okay, compile result, and notice it gives you kind of this like result object, right?
Wait, let's make sure. And my stuff is code it. Okay, I didn't use what do you call it? Dot dot. What the fuck is that even called? um colon. All right. So, oh fuck's sake. So what? Why is it not printing stuff? Okay, okay. Okay, compile process, clear. Okay.
I'm not going to, again, kind of dig into exactly how this works, but you can see that if you want to look at the standard out, then it would be std out from this compile process, or sorry, not compile, completed process. And if this had any result, like if there was an error, you'd be able to see it there. And the return code would most likely be the error return code as well.
Yeah.
Now let's look at target here. So we have target, we have hello world, and now notice inside of my directories, I have my compiled code, right? I have main.exe, code.exe, file.exe, etc. If you were on Mac or Linux, you would get, I believe, a .sh file or an executable file on your operating system. It would be different than if you were on Windows. Okay, so I think I'm going to wrap up the video here. All of this code will be available.
Wait. So how did the binary code even get there, bro? Okay. Wait, I need to break this. Kind of like compile, save. All right, this wasn't supposed to be here. Yeah, this wasn't supposed to be here. So what does this even do, bro? So we ran it and it make a fucking binary? What the fuck?
Available on GitHub. I'll also zoom out a bit and kind of slowly scroll through in case any of you want to pause the video and have a look at any of the lines here. But I thought this was a useful project just to teach you some basic kind of automation, I don't know, automation scripting, syntax tools, commands you can use in Python. I write code like this all the time in Python. It's really helpful. This is kind of my go-to language when I need to do like file or file system operations. So hopefully you guys found some value from this. And of course, if you did, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel. You guys can check out my programming expert course if you want to learn how to become a Python programmer or a software engineer as fast as possible. And I look forward to seeing you in another YouTube video.
I learned a lot. Not even gonna lie, bro. Like, big props to you, bro. Big props. And I don't I don't understand why the run command do like make a file with um so let's so this stuff. So this is, I think, while I was learning Go, there was a wait the fuck up. What the fuck? Fuck off, man. Why the fuck do you FMT print line? I know that. Go open anyway. This stuff. File with do that. Why? I didn't even know. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. The garbage output you're seeing, and later bunch of binary looking data with Go and GNU. What the fuck is GNU, bro? GNU. Oh, SNU. Seoul. Seoul, Korea? South Korea? Gopal Narayan. GNU. Free software unit hardware built by name of the new C++. later buds like entire no because your scripting is making binary. It's like a build succeeded and produce or real executable binary file, and then use scripting is printing the dot binary file to the console while it happens. All right, and then go build creates an executable um name after the directory or the Go file. While you do print result, you are printing the entire compile. This is the problem. So fucking print is the problem? What the fuck? Or the fucking result the variable, I think. So this shit is out, my guy. So let's see if we delete this, bro. Okay, okay, target. Hello, it's making a fucking binary executable file. Think that's the not the problem. Why this happened? Build executable. You entire compile for the stir y which is RMT. But more importantly, when you new line which is LLS, what the how do you pronounce it? Alice. For text is equal to true, try to decode the output as text. Go build doesn't print much to it, just writes the binary executable to the disk. It for some reason any binary data leaks in I'll fix it. Is is it even the problem? So this is my first scripting later I made this with the tutorial. So this is my first scripting tutorial. I made this with tutorial. Mm, and he taught me this this only or this file only. So I have no external external knowledge WLED of scripting. So can you like tell me? I should do next. And so like I didn't understand this. Like I think Go makes an executable file to I think it's a big deal. You use sub process file command argument. eh, Um, the argument system argument like for the inline command and even build some practical. Fix and improve your current best. Improve this if this is pretty learn. Yeah, fix the garbage output problem we talk about earlier. Which run command so it doesn't print binary stuff at proper error. Go is not installed or no go file found. Make us the script more user friendly and text add help text if someone runs it wrong. Clean up small bugs like the unused variable in who is the walk. Would you like me to give you a full cleanup and improve version? Can you give me? I will write. All right. Learn core Python concept you probably missed. How to write reusable code. I kind of know that. This directory and loop very important for. I know list and directory, but loop in directory and list is kind of alright. Try accept. Accept. Alright. Classes object oriented, useful but not all urgent for beginners. You can learn this for free. Real Python, great free articles. Free code camp, Python course on YouTube. Automate the boring stuff. Excellent. I read that, bro. This automate the boring stuff is um kind of like really good. Build small projects. This is where real learning happens. Fostered by almost as stop watching tutorial. Build small thing. Number guessing game. Computer picks a number. You guess it with hint. Too high, too low. Password generator. Create strong password. Random password. Mm, These will teach you. All right. Good free resources. I recommend it. Alright, build. So, like, what I mean was like, in part of scripting, this is my first uh Python code that I wrote with the tutorial, like while learning, while he explained, write this and this and that, and and I learned the basics of Python with automate the boring stuff up to chapter 10 or up to 8. So I only had the basics of it, and I got the basics down and stuff. And what I intend to do with Python is only scripting, not like right now, not AI, but later it might be my goal, but not right now. So my stuff is like scripting right now. Like I want to use it in Linux. I use Arch Linux, and what do I do? And and um script in Arch and 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 um and for cloud AWS, and also for scripting in general. Bro, why do I sound. Wait, I need to go to the toilet. I'm not gonna stop recording. Wait the fuck. कहाँ हो मेरो घर पर्दैन घर आएर बोल्नु Bruh, I went out for too long, bro.